Welcome back to the channel. I am Jamie, that's me. I wanted to come to you guys to talk a little bit more about Xscape because yesterday was a crazy day for everybody, okay? And I can imagine what it was like for the Scott sisters, all right? Now, y'all know the show SWV and Xscape is on TV. One of the first episodes that dropped, we ended up hearing Tamika accusing her sister, Tasha Scott, of stealing roughly $30,000 from her, okay? Well, since that time, Miss Tasha has gone on to do plenty of interviews where she has denied doing such a thing, okay? She recently did a YouTube video kind of breaking things down similar to Miss Kandi Burruss's Speak On It video, and that was something that resulted in Tamika having to finally come out and say her piece, okay? She finally came out. She said her piece. Not only did she say her piece, she also dropped the receipts. Now, I did do a watch along for that video, but for the people that did not see the watch along or get the video, we are going to do a quick recap as to the things that Miss Tamika said and the receipts that she dropped. Now, in addition to that, a lot of people have been a bit confused, okay? We've been hearing a lot of different sides as to how Xscape broke up, okay? So I definitely want to play the audio. Shout out to one of my subscribers that super chatted us. I want to play the audio. I want to get into the details of what Mr. Jermaine Dupri had to say and how the group actually broke up. Because if you let Tasha tell it, Kandi Burruss was likely the reason, vice versa, whatever the case is, okay? And I want to hear it from Jermaine because y'all know how we go. Hashtag ask Jermaine, okay? So I want to hear from Jermaine what it is he has to say about whatever solo project, what happened with the group. I want to get his details. But before we do that, let's go ahead and talk about Tamika real quick because she says that her sister was requesting an apology. As you saw in her video, she's not giving her that fucking apology. And I'm here for her on that. You want an apology, BIT? It ain't going to be coming from me, all right? She acknowledges that she did lie on Kandi, but she lied on Kandi on behalf of her sister at the end of the day, okay? And for her sister to hold that against her all these years later is a problem because she was 20 years old at that time, roughly, and now she's damn near getting closer to 50, and this is what we own. You won't do me, boo-boo, okay? That's what we're not gonna do, and this is all according to Tamika, okay? She says she's, her sister tried to use that lie as an excuse for her to get whatever apology she feels that she deserves because Tasha was saying in her video, well, you know how she do, basically making Tamika the liar. Well, girl, after this video drop, we see who the liar is at this point, okay? Now, Tamika does clarify that she did have a SCX tape as she was accusing her sister and Rocky of threatening her with this SCX tape, okay, and it leaking, okay. We also heard Rocky go over to Tasha K, have a conversation that Tasha leaked where he alleged that there was a SCX tape and all of that. Ironically, Tamika releases the text messages where somebody was trying to extort her, telling her she needs to apologize and she needs to pull back and do this or that, or they're going to be leaking that sex tape and other things, okay? So she definitely put them on blast and put numbers on blast, okay? And this is definitely believable because Tamika took to social media before she even did the full video. She called out Tasha's husband, Mr. Rocky, for pretty much impersonating her ex-husband, calling down to Sprint, using her social security number to gain access to her phone records, her text messages, her videos, everything in her phone, all of that, which makes sense as to how he obtained certain images of her because actually what he said on Tasha K's call, I'm sorry, I don't believe it was a SCX tape that he mentioned, but what he mentioned was that Tamika sent him nude photos. Well, now we know Tamika never sent him those nude photos. We know that he actually captured that from gaining access to her phone, and this is according to Tamika, okay? Tamika does admit to having an SCX tape. She does admit to having that tape, and she says that she did it a long time ago when she was in her 20s. A lot of things happen in the 20s, okay? She says that she gave that tape to her sister, thinking she could trust her sister. Her sister put it in her safe box, lock box, whatever box that she has, and then her sister says somebody stole it out of there. What do you mean stole it out of there? Who all could have access? Well, only Tasha and her husband had access to it. So if it's not one, then it's likely the other. So then that's when Tamika started putting the dots together as to who has her tape. The problem for me is how forgiving of a heart Tamika has And to me, it definitely shows how much of an outcast she was with her family, that she feels the need to people please, overcompensate, and also often forgive. A lot of people like to use religion and Christianity and all of that as reasons as to why people should forgive and let go of situations, right? And I feel like because she grew up in that type of household, she let go of a lot of damaging things that happened to her instead of addressing things head on so that people can learn how to treat her. And I feel like a lot of people like to use their religion stuff as an excuse to get away with their bullshit, if you ask me. Okay. Now, so that was going on because I couldn't understand for the life of me why would Tamika allow her sister, who she believes took money, or whatever the case is. You always having to go to bat for your sister. Rarely do you ever see your sister going to bat for you, whatever. And you give her that tape. Why not go and put it in a safety deposit box at a bank or go somewhere else and hide it or whatever? But that's something she chose to do. It backfired on her years later because now she's alleging that they're trying to use this against her to extort her. Okay, now let's keep going because she also brought Miss Diane into the picture. A lot of people who don't know, Miss Diane is Tiny's mom. Okay, Tiny, who's married to T.I. Okay, she's Tiny's mom, and she also was the person to set the girls up to get them where they need to be when it comes down to receiving their royalties for their checks. Now, y'all know that Tiny's dad was an artist. I believe he performed with the band, or if he wasn't an artist, I believe he played an instrument or something with the band, but he was heavily involved in music as well. And so with her mom working with her dad and his group, she learned about Sound Exchange by way of their people out in New York. So learning from those people, she started to see, oh, hey, well, if I'm doing this for my husband, then my baby need to get hers too. So my baby get hers, then all the group members need to get theirs. Let me tell you, the mama laid everything out. She remembered the names of the people she spoke to when she called Sound Exchange to find out details. She remembered exactly what they said. She didn't know Rocky's, I believe, real name or something like that. And I believe he said Edward Bivens, and that was shocking to her because I believe she only called him Rocky or something like that. But obviously, Tamika knew exactly who he was. Okay, Tamika dropped the receipts of when the addresses and contact information was changed. She dropped about 3 different receipts over there on her page. In addition to that, she also dropped a copy of the check where her fake signature was signed and then Edward Bivens' signature was signed right underneath that. Okay, Miss Girl definitely went in. Talk about coming with receipts. I didn't know she was gonna come with receipts like this, references, all kind of sources and stuff, okay, to bring in your hard copies, then to bring in Miss Diane to back up what you're saying, and then to turn around and be so calm in your video and relay your information. I feel like personally there's no reason for anybody to not believe this woman, especially when you pay attention to how Tamika moved and then you pay attention to how Tasha and her husband moved, specifically the husband though, okay, for me, all right. So they definitely confirmed that it was Edward Bivens, according to Miss Diane and Tamika, and based on what they received from Sound Exchange, this was the person that was sitting up there signing and cashing checks into his account, okay? Real interesting. A lot of people decided that they were going to pull up the numbers, the contact number that was listed on the forms that Tamika released. They did research and found out that that number is linked back to Gloria, okay? Gloria, first name and that last name. Girl, I put that first and that last name over into either Google or Instagram, and it pulled up the Instagram of their mama. I'm just going to be real honest with you, okay? It pulled up the Instagram of their mama. Period. First and last name, girl. I was like, oh, wow. Wow. So this was indeed her address. Now, I do recall Tamika mentioning that Rocky, Tasha, and her mom all lived together at that time. So at this point, it's giving for me. It's giving people in cahoots or something, which is why the mama is so adamant that, oh, ain't nobody steal that money. And now people wondering if she took it. And if she didn't take it, when it comes to the mom, it's like, girl, they was living right under your house, doing scheming things, yet you still sit up here going to bat for them, but not over here acknowledging Tamika. So the only thing I can attest to that and connect to that, in my opinion, is that they must have been really paying your way and really looking out and taking care of you and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's given, that they give you so much, likely financially and monetarily, that you just turn a blind eye to some things, but then look at Tamika like she's the problem, when she's really the giver, when she's the one that's really the people pleaser. So then it does, and I don't want to put this on their mom for real, but it does make me question her a bit and make me look at her like, like daughter, like mother. Like, what's really going on? Okay, so let's keep going. As I said, she did admit to the SCX tape, and we talked about that, okay? She also clears up the deal about the gospel deal and how Tasha was just so adamant that Rocky was the person that got them that deal. Tamika had to clear that up and say, no, he did not, okay? He probably played a little part in having some conversations, but he didn't get us that deal, okay? She says that it was a previous management team or whatever that got them the deal, and everything was a go because this is something her grandmother wanted, was for them to do a song, a gospel album together, okay? When she told Tasha, hey, I want to split things down the middle, trying to be fair, then Tasha kind of blew her wig cap back blue, kind of like what Coco did when Kandi said that she wanted to headline. Okay? When she said that, she went off, she went on a rant, and I believe this of what Tamika's saying based on how we saw what Tasha said on the TV screen when she says, it's just really interesting to watch my sister kind of organize things with Steve and map out and come up with the creative design for the set, because that's the lane that I always took, and this, that, and other. Instead of giving your sister props for stepping outside of her normal lane and getting into another of what she doesn't, always do, like just tapping into a new space of creativity for your sister, you're more focused on what it is that you did and what you used to do, and now she's over there in that lane. You seemed unimpressed, unbothered, and unentertained when your sister was trying to let y'all know the direction of where she could see the concert going, okay? So that's the reason why I do believe that the sister blew up and said, I do this, I'm the lead, I'm the singer of the group, I do this, I do that, I this, I that. Well, girl, listen, Sister Tamika is over there giving the girls vocals down because she's over there singing your part. You feel what I'm saying, girl? She was giving understudy. Okay, and underestimated is what she was given, and now it's time for her to really shine how she needs to, girl. Like you gotta be careful how you treat some people, because you just never know how it's gonna show up years later. Tamika doesn't like that she always gives Rocky so much credit. She always does. She credited the fact that $1 million deals that they got or tours that they were on that gave them millions of dollars. She says Rocky did that. Kandi had to come back and debunk that and say, girl, that's a lie. Okay? He did not get us those things. X, Y, and Z got us those things. Another reason why I believe what Tamika is saying when she says don't give him so much credit is because somebody else affiliated with the group has already come and debunk those very things, okay? So yeah, she also dropped receipts of the paperwork that showed the change of address. We talked about that, the signatures and everything. So Tamika definitely came to kind of play with the girls for a little bit, okay, and clear up some things, clear up some matters. But she definitely was very clear to make sure she let her sister know to keep my name out your mouth. All right, that's what she said, girl. If it's not coming with an apology to your niece, to my nephew, to me, keep my name out your mouth. Period. This is coming from Tamika. Tamika also kind of hinted at the fact that Tasha stole from the church, but she didn't dive deeper into that. So I'm like, in what way do you mean? What do you mean Tasha stole from the church? Are you saying that she's stealing from the church because she's putting out this gospel album, meanwhile keeping up a fake persona of who she is, and people are buying into that? Is that what you mean by stealing from the church, or did she actively steal from the church? Right? I guess the world will never know, because Tamika says that she will not be addressing this again. Okay, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens with the sisters. Although we talk about it, we commentate, we share our thoughts, we give our opinions, and it might be entertaining for a lot of us. At the same time, it's really sad because this was and still is a iconic girl group, and these are actually sisters that are being affected by this stuff. Okay, so hey, listen, I do feel like it's their own problems that's affecting them. It's just that it's been made public at this time. So we'll see where this friendship, this relationship, this whatever ship goes, as time continues to progress. All right. So that's the synopsis, the breakdown of everything that Tamika talked about over there on her video. Now, I kind of want to get into switch gears. Not kind of, I do. I want to switch gears, and I want to talk about Jermaine Dupri. I told y'all, Kandi has her explanation as to how the group broke up. Tasha has hers. And this whole time I've been saying kind of what Kandi has been saying, ask Jermaine. Hashtag ask Jermaine. Jermaine actually told us 5 years ago, girl, how the group broke up, what his thoughts were about it, and how he was creating friction in the group. And he didn't even really realize that that was something that he was doing. So without further ado, girl, I'm going to go ahead and shut my mouth, and I'm going to let Jermaine tell y'all exactly what he had to say. Now, let's get into this.
Yeah,
was that a conscious thing?
No, I never talked about Xscape in interviews because they broke up by the time, you know what I mean? Like, and I felt like it was like, you know, I never understood why they broke up. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I never understood why they broke up. I never understood what the reason was, and I just felt like if they didn't want to talk about their own self. So what am I here talking about? You know what I mean? I want to talk about everything else. I would always love to talk about Xscape, but they just never wasn't really. They was really completely opposite of what they was doing. Like for the longest, people that watched T.I. and Tiny never even knew that she was even a group. You know what I'm saying? And then Kandi, she got so much popularity from Housewives. It was the same thing. Like people wasn't really ever connecting them to. I
mean, if you're from a certain era, you
from
knew.
A different era.
Yeah.
But I'm saying for the most part, you never heard them say nothing about it either. So it was just like it wasn't really something that I was deliberately doing. It was just that fact that I was just caught up in what was happening.
That's when you know you got a lot of hit records, when you can just conveniently forget Xscape. Xscape was popping. I didn't realize how big Xscape was, though. I'm going to be honest with you. I knew
yes,
it was
you
popping.
did, because we had a whole conversation when they said they were going back on tour, and I was like, oh, that's exciting. I want to see Xscape. And he was like, who wants to see Xscape?
I did, because I didn't realize how big they were. I didn't realize
I mean,
a
lot of people didn't. And I'm glad that they went on the tour. I'm glad that they did. I'm glad that I sparked that energy to make them even go out there and do that, because a lot of people on that other side of that fence that didn't realize how big that group is and how much they meant to the culture.
Did it make it awkward when Tamika said that you and Kandi was having sex?
No.
Was that part of the reason you?
I'm a lifer, man. I'm a real life person, man.
Yeah.
Things
Kandi
that happen in my
book,
like the funny.
Was that a conscious thing?
I'm sorry, y'all.
No, I never talked about Xscape in interviews because they broke up by the time. You know what I mean? Like, and I felt like it was like, you know, I never understood why they broke up. You know what I'm saying? I never understood why they broke up. I never understood what the reason was, and I just felt like if they didn't want to talk about their own self. So what am I here talking about? You know what I mean? I want to talk about everything else. I would always love to talk about Xscape, but they just never wasn't really. They was really completely opposite of what they was doing. Like for the longest, people that watched T.I. and Tiny never even knew that she was even a group. You know what I'm saying? And then Kandi, she got so much popularity from Housewives. It was the same thing. Like people wasn't really ever connecting them to. If you're from a certain era, you from a different era. Yeah. But I'm saying for the most part, you never heard them say nothing about it either. So it was just like it wasn't really something that I was deliberately doing. It was just that fact that I was just caught up in what was happening.
That's when you know you got a lot of hit records, when you can just conveniently forget Xscape. Xscape was popping. I didn't realize how big Xscape was, though. I'm going to be honest with you. I knew
yes,
it was
you
popping.
did, because we had a whole conversation when they said they were going back on tour, and I was like, oh, that's exciting. I want to see Xscape. And he was like, who wants to see Xscape?
I did, because I didn't realize how big they were. I didn't realize.
I mean, a
lot
of people didn't. And I'm glad that they went on the tour. I'm glad that they did. I'm glad that I sparked that energy to make them even go out there and do that, because a lot of people on that other side of that fence that didn't realize how big that group is and how much they meant to the culture.
Did it make it awkward when Tamika said that you and Kandi was having sex?
No.
Was that part of the reason you?
I'm a lifer, man. I'm a real life person, man.
Yeah.
Things that happen in my like the funniest part about the funniest part about being older and becoming I guess legendary, what people call you, is that people always try to make fun of things that happen in your life. You can't make fun about things this is my life.
Right.
I live the craziest life ever. Like when I had to tell Wendy Williams this about Janet. Like I dated Janet Jackson, nobody else. You can't say nothing crazy about it. You can ask me about it, but I'm the one who enjoyed all of that. You know what I'm saying?
For 10 years.
And the same thing with anybody that anybody said they heard I was with. You know, me and Kandi, we did have a little thing, but that ain't what broke the group up.
Now hold on now, because the girl first she said y'all did do something, and then she said she was lied about it. So which Tamika, whoever, whatever.
I think what happened was that I know Kandi in her book discussed what happened, and she said you guys did have a relationship, and I could see how that could be somewhat weird for the other girls in the group, because they might feel like they're not getting treated equally, that Kandi might have had more of an advantage because she had more of a direct line to you. I mean, it's just what people think.
Yeah. And they said it was you and your daddy smashing
Right,
her.
that's the lie. She said it was never her.
That's That's where my hands.
You bow out?
That's where I bow out. I don't know nothing about all the other stuff.
So it was about Kandi saying that they lied about her sleeping with Jermaine's dad.
Not Jermaine.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. I mean, the situation with me and Kandi it was just something that happened. It wasn't like that. And I mean, you know, the thing that broke Xscape up, for just the clarity, is me right.
But you just said that you didn't know why they broke up. So now you're saying that the thing is, so I guess he's about to say what he believes caused the group to break up. Listen to this closely.
The songs, because when the group came to me, I never really, just the clarity, is me writing the songs. Because when the group came to me, I never really paid attention to how the group was actually created from the scratch. I write the songs based on how I hear music, and I thought that Kandi should sing the songs because that's just how that's how it felt to me.
All right, so y'all just heard what he said. He felt like Kandi should be the one that sings the song. So a lot of people get this woman flack, you know, call her out, say she can't sing, this, that, and the other. Well, obviously, Jermaine Dupri saw something in her voice. Okay, that he felt the need that she needed to be the person to sing the songs. Okay, now I can hear y'all getting ready to tappity tap right now because y'all about to say, well, that's because he likes her and he was about to start, you know, messing with that lady because they was messing with each other. I don't think so. I think all of this was before all of that. Okay, I think he just liked that lady's voice in general. Okay,
Tasha was actually the leader of the group. So when you start giving people songs and you tell them they should sing, and you give a song to Angela, and he's the person who started it, he gonna be looking like, yo, I'm supposed to be
And then
singing.
they probably
this.
thought y'all had a relationship.
No,
too.
it wasn't. That was
But
the first song.
That's what.
boom. So y'all just heard that. He said that was the first song. So basically, what he's saying is Tasha, and Tasha has said this in multiple interviews, right? Where she's saying that she came up with Xscape. Like, that's her baby. She came up with it, brought them together, whatever the case is, right? So when you think that you in charge of the girls and you the leader of the group and you finally done landed some type of deal or whatever the case is, you come in with a major producer and he get to produce it and he's like, hey, I wrote this for Kandi. Right? Because her voice was the voice that stood out to him, that he was writing a lot of the songs to tailor her voice. And over time, Miss Tasha was the one that kind of got offended by that. And I can't say that she shouldn't, but that's not Candy's fault is what I am saying, okay? That's how he wrote the songs.
Okay.
This was the very first song. This happened before anything. This was like this when they came to my house, I said, yo, this is the song I want y'all to sing. The song said Kandi be the lead, right? And then Tasha had to fall back, and it's like her group. So from there, I never even paid no attention to what I was doing. I was already creating a friction by doing that. And that's a lot of times that happens when you write songs. You don't even really pay no attention to that. And people don't, you know, I didn't pay too much attention to that. And I kept writing songs that leaded to, like, once Just Kicking It went #1, and I was like, oh, shit, Kandi, you might need to sing another song.
Right.
And then the person's still looking like, nigga, this is my group. When I'm gonna get my lead. So, and then it started changing when I made Who Can I Run To, and Tasha sang the lead, and Kandi wasn't on that song, right? So it was like, it just was the way the structure was. That group thing is so crazy when you do that type of stuff.
And what about Tasha going solo? Was that your idea? Was that another label?
I mean, I think she always wanted to go solo, but the whole truth of it was that I wasn't like pushing that to be something that would break the group up.
All right. So y'all just heard all of that from Mr. Jermaine, okay? So it seems like the group broke up because of that type of friction that he didn't even know that he was creating. And Tasha was just in her feelings that Kandi was the one singing the songs. And a lot of the songs that were sung by Kandi got them hits, which is why Jermaine Dupri, once you figure out that's something that works, he just kept drilling in on that. And that, offended Tasha. I just find it interesting because I'm still confused as to how is that Kandi's fault when it's more so how Jermaine was writing it. You know, women can get catty, but then you turn around, you're upset with Kandi because she's singing lead, whatever the case is, and then you still turn around and do a solo deal with Jermaine Dupri. But then say that Kandi would feel away when you were the one that would start leading the songs. Why would she need to feel away? I think for me on the outside looking in, I feel like you could have been creating some of those things in your head. A lot of times, you know, you might be with people And I mean, it's not even really just being with people. It's just a lot of times we create some scenarios in our head and it's not even actual factual. You know, you might be thinking people talking about you, and half the time these people ain't even thinking about you. They got other stuff that they going on. Now, you could be right in some cases, but then in a lot of cases, you probably aren't. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like that was just like a misplacement of anger based on the stories that we hear from her and Kandi. It seems like your problem should have been with Jermaine, the same person that you went and got the solo deal with, only for you to turn around and then blame that on Kandi as well. But I also feel like at the end of the day, what would have helped y'all more than anything was understanding. Come on, understanding and some communication. And I think that y'all probably would have been in a better place. So less ego, more understanding, more communication, and y'all would have been in a much better place. At this time, ain't no telling what's going to happen with Xscape. I think it's only going to be an Xscape 3. Kandi ain't trying to work with Miss Tasha no more. Tamika done aired her out. So it's just like, girl, I don't see them coming. I don't see no comeback. I feel like they're on a hiatus at this moment. Okay? I feel like it might be another 5 years or so before we see Xscape all together again, you know, on the same stage. So hopefully, you know, Tasha can get to a place where she can work on that solo career that she's always wanted. I just don't want her to move forward and blame nobody, because I don't think it's anybody else's fault. It's just crazy that, you know, how she may have tried to use Xscape to catapult the solo career then and now, and it's still not, you know, hitting how we should hit, okay? It's just that whose fault is it now? Is it still going to be Kandi's fault? The people would like to know. But either way, that's all that I got. I wanted to come in, you know, give y'all another roundup regarding Tamika's video, and more so importantly, Jermaine Dupri's soundbite on how he believes the group broke up, okay? So that's all I got. You guys go ahead, hop down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about everything that we just discussed. I'm Jamie, that's me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the videos. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JamiThatsMe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.